Bitcoin right now falling on the short term. And I want to break down the charts and talk about it, but I want to explain why I think it is how I would describe it as an incredibly beautiful move on the charts. 3.5% candle to the downside on the hourly. 3.5% very quickly. I want to discuss and break down these charts. It's going to be a pretty quick to the point video discussing the next move for Bitcoin and what is in store for Bitcoin. So please hit the subscribe, hit the like, and let's just jump into it. Before we really break down exactly what is happening right now, I do want to just point something out. I think there might be an increasing narrative, especially when we get dips like this pertaining to the US government. Question, is US government selling some of their Bitcoin? This is a headline from March 31st. US government sells Bitcoin, seized from Silk Road case, netting over $215 million. So this was on March 31st, talking about how on March 14th, the US sold over 9,000 Bitcoin, 9,000 of 50,000, meaning there's a bunch of Bitcoin left. And the question will be, is Bitcoin being sold by the US government? But I want to show you something. They sold the Bitcoin on March 14th. If we go to a daily chart, this is what it looked like. So here's a daily chart, March 14th. If we go spot it right here, it was a green candle for Bitcoin. So US government selling Bitcoin, it was a green daily candle. And not only that, moments later, well, I should say days later, Bitcoin made a nice move to the upside. You can see some sell pressure right there on the wick of the daily, but that's what Bitcoin did. So there might be this narrative, this question every time Bitcoin dips, is US government selling? But we should keep into context. Well, last time it happened, it was a green daily candle. So I don't think it's going to be some massive capitulation because US government's selling Bitcoin. And I think it's something we should keep in mind. That's why at the end of the day, I like to just zoom out and just focus on the structure that is just right in front of us. And that's what we're doing in this video. So I mentioned it's a beautiful move. I'm just like most of you, especially if you're macro bullish, you enjoy the green candles, the breakouts. I do too. But because I'm macro bullish, I enjoy red days. I enjoy just hourly charts that have these big red candles. I just tweeted a little bit ago. I said, Bitcoin having $1,000 dips within an hour is a common move these days. It's not bearish. It's not bullish. It's just short-term structure. Bitcoin has really matured. And that's all that's happening right here on the hourly. If you're zoomed in on the hourly and you're watching it fall and you're not even following the structure, or you're even zoomed in more on like a 5-minute or something, it's going to look kind of bearish. It's going to look like, oh no, here we go. But it's important to zoom out on the things that are actually happening. One of those very important things is structure. So I say it's a beautiful move. I think it's a really nice move. And it's not just the move to the lower trend line. If we break to the downside, I think that is a nice move. And the reason, and I want to show you what that will look like if it happened, the reason I think that is a nice move can be portrayed and illustrated if you just start zooming out even on a weekly and you just look at previous bull runs for Bitcoin. We can go all the way back to any bull run that we see on Bitcoin. It's these red candles on the weekly scattered throughout, these huge retracements, multi-week retracements, huge dips for Bitcoin. When you zoom in on those red candles, you're going to see massive dips on the hourly charts. And that is such an important ingredient for bullish continuation. We can't have just nonstop green candle after green candle. There needs to be some red scattered within there on the shorter term. So when we start seeing moves like this, it becomes apparent that it's not necessarily bearish on the macro. On the short term, it's kind of a bearish to the downside move, but the bigger picture of Bitcoin, no. So if we look at this, though, we're at this lower trend line. I want to just show you something. On the momentum oscillator on the 6 hour, Bitcoin's kind of at a very key area. You can see Bitcoin just right at this line, right around here on the slower moving momentum oscillator. But let's look at early April, it was here retracing. Back here, late March, it was here retracing. What did that look like on the Bitcoin charts? Well, that was Bitcoin consolidating and pulling back to the lower trend line. So you can see the lower trend line being tested all throughout this momentum area. And Bitcoin right now testing that area once again. Bitcoin could very well bounce, as it did previously, off of the momentum area here, off of the lower trend line here, and just start making the move to the upper trend line. If the bulls just step up and start doing something like that, We have a breakout target still in play around $36,000 out of this rising channel for Bitcoin. But I mentioned that Bitcoin could still look bullish even if it falls to the downside. I want to show you why that is. Downside target right around $25,800, $900. Let's just call it $26,000. You go to the daily chart, and here's what we have going on. Bitcoin is, sure enough, testing the 20-day moving average, confluent with the lower trend line. It's a very similar move that we got back here, and this was at the 20-day and lower trend line kind of early April. We got the move to the upside. If Bitcoin falls, though, and fails at support, what's it doing? And this is the biggest question we should always be asking ourselves. It's the moving averages, once again, tying things together. It's breaking to the downside. If it breaks to a target of $26,000, $25,000, $26,000, we have the 50-day moving average down here, right around $26,600. And we also have, we can't forget it, the 200-day moving average all the way down here around $21,200. We need to see the convergence, the continued convergence throughout this higher high, higher low journey of Bitcoin. We need to see the convergence of the moving averages. So that means the 200 being pulled closer to Bitcoin. Because in that environment of these moving averages pulling into Bitcoin, it allows for Bitcoin to consolidate, put in higher lows on the macro, and get that explosive move of separation away from the moving averages. Bitcoin can't just keep going and going and going and get so much separation from the moving averages. In any market, bullish or bearish, we pretty much always see Bitcoin get thrown back into the moving averages, somewhere in the mix. And the only thing that we can do is evaluate, well, where are the support areas? We have the target, first target, $26,000 if Bitcoin were to fall. It's within all these moving averages. And then we have the kind of more bearish target if Bitcoin's going to fall even more, swing low to swing high. And it's a higher low Fibonacci for Bitcoin, 23,900 down to around $22,000. That's in play. But the first area I'd be watching if Bitcoin breaks to the downside, and that's if it breaks. Bitcoin might see support here and start making a bullish move to the upside. But we have the consolidation so in play to the downside right here in this first target, $25,900, $26,000. So that's what I'm watching for Bitcoin. But if you go to the weekly chart, check this out. We have consolidation if Bitcoin were to fall to that area. Look, the 200-week moving average, the 20-week moving average is all the way down here at 23,000, and the 50-week moving average all the way down there around $22,000. So Bitcoin, if it were to fall even more, just very simply putting in a higher low on this chart, that is bullish to me. One thing I wanted to point out, I was just kind of mentioning this. Bitcoin it's like gravity. It gets pulled back into the moving averages in any market, bear or bull. And you can just see if we scroll out here on the bear market, this is the bull market high, Bitcoin falling into the bear market. Look at it. Bitcoin just pulls into the moving averages. It gets crazy overextension, pulls into the moving averages. Crazy overextension, pulls into the moving averages, somewhere in between before continuation. Bull runs, bull scenarios, they're made of the same thing. Nice separation, pulling back in. Nice separation, pulling back in. How that looks, we never will know just ahead of time. We can only monitor targets and see how support holds. And that's what I'm looking at for targets to downside. But at the end of the day, everybody, there is potential Bitcoin bulls. And this is kind of where we start getting bullish signals. If Bitcoin holds support here and starts continuing to the upside, we might be talking about a $36,000 target in the next video. But nobody knows what's going to happen. We're visualizing as we go. We're anticipating as we go. Mainly, this is the reason I do it, so that I can just be prepared and just be comfortable within the crypto environment that we're in. So let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Hit the subscribe, hit that like. I'll see you in the next video. God bless.